Well, you've built the model of the cat, and what you can now do is make a little box for it to go in. So if you print off the sheets that come with it, and you'll then be ready to assemble the box. So the next thing to do, once you've printed those out, is simply cut everything out. Cut it to the black lines, and we've got our score lines there as well. So a bit like with the box, cut everything and score it, which is what I'm going to do now. So cut out all these shapes, score them where there's a dotted line. You've got 2 panels here, you only need one, keep the other one, we use that for the dog kennel. And we've got 2 side panels as well. So without further ado, I'm going to cut this all out and score it, then I'll show you how we assemble it. Now, with all the parts cut out and scored, we're ready to assemble this, and it really is quite simple. Just a few points to note as we go through. The back panel's fairly obvious. This one you can see here, I've cut out all the elements from it and twisted them back to the back there, ready for gluing. But let me just show you here. One little point to note on this one, I've missed a little bit out there I need to cut out, but it's easier with this one to actually score all these lines around here before you cut them out. So go round when it's flat on the paper and just put your little score lines in for all the tabs here, and then cut them out. That will make life much easier for you. Same again for the back panel here, and this all folds inwards and acts as part of the construction for you. And then we've got some other little bits and pieces in there. It really is all fairly straightforward. And then we're ready for gluing. This is a support piece as well. So what I'm going to do is start with the gluing of the sides, and I'll show you how we put this one together. I'll start with the 2 side panels, and panel 1, panel 2, here we go. One of them has an extra, panel 1 here has an additional lip to it, which then simply glues onto panel 2 there, and we just butt those 2 together, and that will give us our longest length there. Incidentally, when you cut this out, you'll notice that it just bleeds slightly over the lines. That's intentional. It's just so that when you fold it, if you're not that accurate at cutting, some of it doesn't matter, but you'll notice on some of these things I've just put a little bit of what I call bleed on it, so as you bend it, the colour just carries on round. It's just there, and you'll see it on these parts as well. When we fold the tabs at the end there, it just carries on round the corner. That's intentional. It's just really to make it look a little bit nicer. Okie dokie, so that's the cat basket side there. That's got to dry, and that's got to really dry properly for us. And when it is, what you need to do is, with the aid of a pencil or anything else rounded, just start from one end here and pull through like this, and you'll see what happens as you pull it. It creates a crease, especially on that part there. And make sure it's nice and dry before you do this, otherwise you're going to pull these 2 parts apart. So I'm just going to turn it round there, just stretch it round, and it just puts a little bit of curve onto that, which is important because we're going to curve this round. And for that joint there, again, because it's a cardboard part, 2 thicknesses together, just try and round it over a pencil just to take some of the strength of that away. Okie dokie, when that's done, we're now ready to put this together on one part onto the base, and then start bending it around the side panels here. We're ready to glue this, and effectively we're sticking this panel down here like so, and then we're going to sort of pull that round. So initially, let's put a bit of glue onto here. Say a bit, quite a bit. It's a strengthening fold. Put that there. I'm just going to line that up with the base there, the 2 fold lines there, and with that dotted line just with the edge of the cat basket at that point, and let that dry. So that when that's nice and firm, we're going to come back, and if I can just show you here, we're going to just literally twist that over and bring it back down like so. If I can show you in the camera there, a little bit crude, but we'll be back to do that one in a moment. So that's going to one side. Here's one I haven't prepared. I'm not going to show you how to do it. This is the front part of the loop. Now, because that's open and we actually bring the cat in and out, it really does need to be strengthened up. And so I'm going to turn it over, and you can see that on the inner panels, all of these now are what I call strengtheners. So what I want to do is just dab a little bit of glue on there. I think too much is coming out my tube. And then just fold that down and glue the 3 inner panels here inwards, and you'll see where they go, they just fit to there like so. That's going to take a little bit, and then just move these over, and these are just strengtheners, the inner one. I said because we've got a natural archway there, it just needs a little bit of strength to hold it. While that's drying, I've put the back panel on, and now I'm going to just cut this out because there's 2 thicknesses of card, because we've just folded that inner one in, and this is going to a little tag that allows a handle to just slide through. So you'll notice there's a small rectangle, a slither of card coming out, hopefully from there. So we just cut that one out and push that out. And if I flip this over, what I'd like to show you as well, there was a spare piece of card, you probably saw this loop, that's just a strengthener. And so a bit of glue around here just to hold it, and that just gives this archway a little bit more strength as well. Just pop that onto there. So we're just trying to just build up a wee bit more strength on that opening, because that's supporting the card as it goes round for the edge of the cat basket. So I'll let that dry, and then we'll come back now and look at attaching the cat basket to the end panel. That's nice and dry now, so the next thing to do is start to slowly work this around, and you can see what we're doing is just building up a semicircle around there, nice and tight, and then that comes down to the end there. That's what we're aiming to achieve, so that's what I'm going to do now. So it's simply a case, I find it easier now at this point, is just push these tags back so they're kind of out of your way for the moment. They need a bit of glue on them, and then this is just going to bend round. The problem I've got at the moment is this thing here, it's just this join is a little bit thick where the two come together, so I'm just going to use a little piece of dowel here and just run that along the edge, just try and round that off a bit if I can. When it goes round the card, that will help as well. I'm just manipulating it. That's probably as good as I'm going to get, so we won't worry too much. Okay, so now glue these tabs, a spot of glue on each of those, especially down near the base, that part, because it's all what I call load bearing. And then I'm going to put a line of glue along the whole length as well. But there's no easy way of doing this, or it's not wildly difficult. If I just tip that up on its side there, we can kind of just walk it round as we glue it, and that might be one way of doing it. So I just put one tag down to begin with, trying to keep that edge right, as it were. Now sorry this is quite difficult on the camera to see, but you get the gist of what I'm doing now. I'm just, as I said, literally walking that round, pushing those down, holding them into position as we glue, and we hit the center point. So I can just come back now and just firm up. You could do this in 2 halves if you want to, as you can see, and then again, if I can just put that out of the way, just keep working my way down here till I've got those tabs there. Then I need a little bit more glue on here. Just glue some of those tabs and a bit more along that edge there, and then that should just come down and join up on that edge there, which it is. So I'm going to flip it over and just hold it like so and just line it up. Okay, let me just turn it over so you can now see what I've done. So at this point I'm just going to put a little bit more glue on the stick to some of those that haven't quite stuck, and then I've got this nice rounded shape. That's the back of my cat basket. The trick with this is to keep it all nice and glued and all in a nice angle. Now what I'm going to do, some of it's just come away, a little bit of glue there, So out from this onto my stick. I can just take some out. I can just drop that into where it's just come away slightly. The glue actually dried quite quickly, it soaked into the card. And then from the inside I can just hold that down now and let that glue nicely on that end there. We're now ready to assemble the front panel on. But before we do that, we're actually going to put the cat door in as well. So that's going to go first. So I'm going to fold that backwards here and put a little bit of glue down that strip there. And then upend this one on its side, and so the first strip will be this one, which will just line up with the bottom tag. You can push that up. Sorry, it's really hard to see. Let's move that out of the way. Move that one out there, square that up and just pop that down. This will all make sense. So when that's nice and dry, we're going to put the glue in again now and glue this part in, and then just put that part over it to make our front of the house like so. So I'm going to go on now and do exactly the same. I'm going to glue this and glue all around there and just put that panel in next. So with everything glued up, this panel now lines up down there like so, if you can see, and then I'm just going to walk this one round. In fact, you can just pull it in like so, get that part to there, squeeze that up there and just line it down the base here. It's a case of just slowly work it round, square everything up, and then bit by bit these little tags here will just go down and glue in. If I can just show you there, I'm just going to go round now and push those down and just glue everything up. So just take my time, you can do the same, everything lines up, and then just bit by bit we work from the inside and just push that top of the cat basket on, letting that dry. Okay, so I'll go around now, just put those tags on, and then that's pretty well coming together. We've just got the base to look at after that. So with everything glued up, this panel now lines up down there like so, if you can see, and then I'm just going to walk this one round. In fact, you can just pull it in like so, get that part to there, squeeze that up there and just line it down the base here. It's a case of just slowly work it round, square everything up, and then bit by bit these little tags here will just go down and glue in. If I can just show you there, I'm just going to go round now and push those down and just glue everything up. So just take my time, you can do the same, everything lines up, and then just bit by bit we work from the inside and just push that top of the cat basket on, letting that dry. Okay, so I'll go around now, just put those tags on, and then that's pretty well coming together. We've just got the base to look at after that. So the next thing to do is fold everything in, let that glue up nicely, and then the back panel goes on just underneath here. Now you can either have that facing on the inside with the wood on the inside or on the outside. I'm just going to pop mine on the outside just to show you. So let's put the two end ones just in there first, and glue along there and there and here and here. Now as we put this panel on, so we'll square everything up as well, so, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So that just rests on there now, and that brings everything kind of into true. So just stick that on. The panel's just slightly smaller, the base of this is just slightly smaller, so it doesn't hang on over the edge, so don't worry about that, it's not going to go right to the edge. You can see now, just by pressing down with my fingers inside, I can put a little bit of pressure on that to apply for the glue, open it up, and again with a little bit of stick I can just put pressure on those tags down there to glue it all together. So we'll just leave that to dry now, and then we'll come back and I'll show you where we put the handles. Okay, you've done brilliantly to get this far. So the last furlong, as they say, is to put the handles on. Now I've got the long red one here, 2 little crease marks either side. So the first thing I'm going to do is just put a glue on the inner one and just fold that one down like so. Spin that around and do the same here. Put it over all of it really, and we're just gluing that part down to there like so. And this is just going to create our handle. Whoops, I'll just pick that up there, and then you can see we've got our crease marks either side, score lines that will just help it bend. And while we've got the glue out, we're going to pull. This is the pull handle, so glue onto the first fold. You'll see the lines behind it there. That just goes together and creates a little loop like so. So I'll just hold that and let that set off, and that's our our handle to open it. And then we've got this bit, and that's our retainer, and that's going to hold this handle on once it's gone through the cat basket door. So we'll just let that dry, and then I'll pop that on afterwards. Okay, we're ready for the final assembly. The handle's going to go on the top here. I'm just going to give a little bit of twist to round it to fit to the shape of the cat basket. So on here, lots of glue on that tab there. So it's going to stick, and a little bit on there just to help it on its way. And the same again over on this side, some glue on there, then some more glue on this part of the handle. And that simply just goes down there. You can see now that's holding to there, so we get a nice little bit of curve. It's more decorative really than functional. That said, there's a surprising amount of strength in this, and when that's all glued and dried, if I just tip it to the side, you can see we've got a nice little carry handle. So while that's setting off, we've got the front here, and this is just what I call the door part to open it up. That's our hook there, as it were. That goes through there and into that part. Now to stop that coming out, I need to put a bit of glue onto it here like so, and onto the door, and that will just hold it into position. That's on at 90 degrees now. That just holds the tab, so when we go to slot it in, it just slides into the door now, and that won't come out when we pull the handles as we open up that like so. And then we're ready to pop our cat in, which we have prepared earlier on, and he's just going to pop into there. You might need a little bit of help with his ears, and he'll just sit in, as I can show you there, like so. And then he's the occupant inside. You've got one gift ready to go.